Surah Al-Anfal, the spoils of war. This surah was revealed in Medina, and it has 75 verses. It is narrated in the commentary of Majma al-Bayan that Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam that whoever recites this surah Al-Anfal and Surah Tawbah every month, he will be protected from being a hypocrite and will be counted among the followers of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salam, and on the day of Qiyamah, he will eat from the tablespoon of Jannah together with all the followers of Ahlul Bayt. This surah contains a verse about Khums, which is the right of the Ahlul Bayt. The Holy Prophet said that he will on the Day of Judgment intercede for the person who recites this surah and will bear witness that the reciter of this surah was free from hypocrisy. Keeping Surah Al-Anfal in your possession at all times ensures that you get your rights that have been taken away from you and your legitimate desires are fulfilled. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, they ask you about the windfalls. Say, the windfalls are for Allah and the Apostle. So be careful of your duty to Allah and set right matters of your difference and obey Allah and His Apostle if you are believers. Those only are believers whose hearts become full of fear when Allah is mentioned, and when His communications are recited to them, they increase their faith, and in their Lord they trust. Those who keep up prayer and spend benevolently out of what we have given them. These are the believers in truth. They shall have from their Lord exalted grades and forgiveness and honorable sustenance. Even as the Lord calls you to go forth from the house with truth, though a party of the believers were surely averse. They disputed with you about the truth after it had become clear, and they went forth as if they were being driven to death while they saw it. When Allah promised you one of the two parties that it shall be yours, and you love that the one not found should be yours. But Allah decides to manifest the truth of what was true by His words, and to cut off the root of the unbelievers. That He may manifest the truth of what was true and show the falsehood of what was false, though the guilty dislike. When you sought aid from your Lord, so He answered you, I will assist you with 1,000 of the angels following one another. And Allah only gave it as a good news, and that your heart might be at ease thereby. And victory is only from Allah. Surely Allah is mighty, wise. When He caused calm to fall on you, as a security from Him, and send down upon you water from the cloud that He might thereby purify you, and take away from you the uncleanliness of shaitan, and that He might fortify your heart, and steady your footsteps thereby. And your Lord revealed to the angels, I am with you. Therefore make firm those who believe. I will cast terror into the hearts of those who disbelieve. Therefore strike off their heads, and strike off every fingertip of them. This is because they acted adversely to Allah and His Apostle. And whoever acts adversely to Allah and His Apostle, then surely Allah is severe in requiting evil. This, taste it and know that for the unbelievers is the chastisement of the fire. O you believe. When you meet those who believe marching for war, then turn not your backs on them. And whoever shall turn his back to them on that day, unless he turns aside for the sake of fighting or withdraws to accompany, then he indeed becomes deserving of Allah's wrath, and his abode is hell, and an evil destination shall it be. If you did not slay them, if it was not Allah who slew them, and you do not smite when you smote the enemy, but it was Allah who smote, and that He might confer upon the believers a good gift from Himself. Surely Allah is hearing knowing. This and that Allah is the weakener of the struggle of the unbelievers. If you demand the judgment then has indeed come to you. And if you desist, it will be better for you. And if you turn back to fight, we too shall turn back, and your forces shall avail you nothing, though they may be many. And know that Allah is with the unbelievers. O you believer, obey Allah and His Apostle, and do not turn back from them while you fear. Be not like those who said, we hear, and they did not obey. Truly the vilest of animals in Allah's sight are the deaf, the dumb, who do not understand. And if Allah had known any better, any good in them, He would have made them hear And if he makes them hear, they would turn back while they withdraw. Oh, you believe. Answer the cause of Allah and His Apostle when He calls you that that which gives you life. And know that Allah intervenes between man and his heart, and that to Him you shall be gathered. And fear and affliction, that you may not smite those of you in particular who are unjust, and know that Allah is severe in requiting evil. And remember that when you are few deemed weak in the land, fearing lest people may carry you off by force, he sheltered you and strengthened you with His aid, and gave you of the good things, that you may give thanks. O you believe, be not unfaithful to Allah and the Apostle, nor be unfaithful to your trust while you know. And know that your property and your children are a temptation, and that Allah is He with whom there is a mighty reward. O you believe, if you are careful of your duty to Allah, He will grant you His distinction and do away with your evils and forgive you. And Allah is the Lord of mighty grace. And when those who disbelieve devised plans against you, that they might confine you or slay you and drive you away, and they devised plans, and Allah too had arranged the plan. And Allah is the best of planners. And when our communications are recited to them, they say, "We have heard indeed, if we pleased, we could say the like of it. This is nothing but the stories of the ancients." And when they said, "O Allah, if this is truthful from thee, then rain upon us stones from heaven, or inflict on us a painful punishment." But Allah was not going to chastise them while you were among them, nor is Allah going to chastise them while yet they ask for forgiveness. And what excuse have they that Allah should not chastise them while they hinder men from the sacred mosque? And they are not fit to be guardians of it. Its guardians are only those who guard against evil, but most of them do not even know. And their prayer before the house is nothing but whistling and clapping of hands. Taste then the chastisement that you disbelieve. Surely those who disbelieve spend their wealth to hinder people from the way of Allah. So they shall spend it. Then it shall be to them an instant regret. Then they shall be overcome. And those who disbelieve shall be driven together to hell. That Allah might separate the impure from the good, and put the impure, some of it, upon the other, and pile it up together, then cast it into hell. These it is for the losers. Say to those who disbelieve, if they desist, that which is past shall be forgiven to them. And if they return, then what has happened to the ancients has already passed. And fight with them until there is no more persecution, and religion should be only for Allah. But if they desist, then surely Allah knows what they do. And if they come back, then know that Allah is your patron. Most excellent is the patron, and most excellent the helper. And know that everything you gain, a fifth of it is for Allah, and for the apostle, and for the near of the king, and the orphans, and the needy, and the wayfarer. If you believe in Allah, and in that which we revealed to our servants, on the day of distinction, the day on which the two parties met, and Allah has power over all things. When you were on the nearer side of the valley, they were on the farthest side, while the caravan was a lower place than you. And if you had mutually made an appointment, you would certainly have broken away from that appointment. But in order that Allah might bring back a matter which was to be done, that he who would perish might perish by clear proof, and he who would live might live by clear proof. And most surely Allah is hearing knowing. And when Allah showed them to you in your dream as few, and if He had shown them to you as many, you would certainly have become weak-hearted and you have disputed about the matter. But Allah saved you. Surely He is knower of what's in the breasts. And when He showed them to you, and when you met, as few in your eyes, and He made you appear little in their eyes, in order that Allah might bring about a matter which was to be done, and to Allah all affairs are returned. O you who believe, when you remember a party, then be firm, and remember Allah much, that you may be successful. And obey Allah and His Apostle, and do not quarrel, for then you will be weak in heart, and your power will depart. And be patient. Surely Allah is with the patient. And be not like those who came forth from their homes in great exaltation, and to be seen of men, and who turn away from the way of Allah. And Allah comprehends what they do. And when the Shaitan made their works fair seeming to them, and said, "No one can overcome you to this day," Surely I am your protector. When the two parties came in sight of each other, he turned upon his heels and said, surely I am clear of you. Surely I see what you do, not see. Surely I fear Allah, and Allah is severe in requiting evil. And when the hypocrites and those in whose hearts was disease said, their religion has deceived them, and whoever trusts in Allah, then surely Allah is mighty wise. And you had seen when the angels were caused to die, those who disbelieved, smiting their faces and their backs, and saying, taste the punishment of burning. This is what your own hands have sent on before, because Allah is not in the least unjust to the servant. In the manner of the people of Pharaoh and those before him, they disbelieved in Allah's communication. Therefore Allah destroyed them on account of their faults. Surely Allah is strong, severe, and requiting evil. Because Allah has never changed the favor which He has confirmed upon His people until they change their own condition, and because Allah is hearing, knowing. In the manner of the people of Pharaoh and those before them, they rejected the communications of the Lord. Therefore we destroyed them on account of their faults, and we drowned Pharaoh's people, and they were all unjust. Surely the vilest animals in Allah's sight are those who disbelieve. Then they would not believe. Those with whom we make an agreement, then they break their agreement every time, and they do not guard against punishment. Therefore, if you overtake them in fighting, then scatter and make an example of them, those who are in their way, that they may be mindful. And if you see treachery on the part of a people, then throw back to them in times of equality. Surely Allah does not love the treacherous. And let not those who disbelieve think that they shall escape. Let not those who believe think that they shall come in first. Surely they will not escape. And prepare against them what force you can, and hold side at the frontier, to frighten thereby the enemy of Allah, and your enemy and others beside them, whom you do not know that Allah knows them. And with everything you will spend in Allah's way, it will be paid back to you fully, and you shall not be dealt with unjustly. And they incline to peace, then incline to it, and trust in Allah. Surely He is the hearing, the knowing. And if they extend to deceive you, then surely Allah is protecting you. He assists you, strengthens His help, and with the unbelievers. You united their hearts, and you spent all that is in the earth. You could not have united their hearts, but Allah united them. Surely He is mighty wise. O Prophet, Allah is sufficient for you and for such of the believers as is following. O Prophet, urge the believers to war. If there are 20 patient ones, youth of you, they shall overcome 200. And if there are 100 of you, they shall overcome 1,000 of you. And of those of you who disbelieve, because they are people who do not understand. For the present, Allah has made light your burden, and He knows that there is weakness in you. So if there are 100 patient ones of you, they shall overcome 200. And if there are 1,000, if there are 1,000, they shall overcome 2,000 by Allah's permission. And Allah is with the patient. It is not fit for a prophet that he should take captives unless he is fought and triumphed in his land. You desire the frail strength of this world, for Allah desires for you, the hereafter, and Allah is the mighty rewarder. There is not one inordinate in Allah would certainly have gone forth. Surely there would have befallen you a great chastisement for what you had taken to. Eat then of the lawful and good things which you have acquired in war, and be careful of your deeds to Allah. Surely Allah is forgiving merciful. O Prophet, say to those of the captives who are in your hand, if Allah knows anything good in your heart, He will give to you better than that which has been taken away from you, and will forgive you. And Allah is forgiving merciful. And if they intend to act unfaithfully towards you, so indeed they acted unfaithfully towards Allah before, which He gave you mastery over them. And Allah is knowing wise. Surely those who believed and fled their homes and struggled in Allah's way with their property and their souls, and who gave shelter and help, these are the guardians of each other. And as for those who believe and do not fly, not yours is the guardianship until they fly. And if they seek aid from you in the matter of religion, aid is incumbent on you, except against the people between whom and you there is a treaty, and Allah sees what you do. And as for those who disbelieve, some of them are the guardians of others. And if you will not do it, there will be in the land persecution and a great mystery. And as for those who believed and fled and struggled hard in Allah's way, and those who gave shelter and help, these are the believers truly, and they shall have forgiveness and honourable provision. And as for those who believed and fled and struggled hard along with you, they are of you. And the possessors of relationships are nearer to each other than in the inordinates of Allah. Surely Allah knows all things. Sadaqallahul Aliyyul Azim.
Sadaqallahu al-Azim. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.